Your boss can't make you rich because the system you're both working in was never designed to. And the scariest part? You already know this. You just keep hoping it isn't true. Picture two people, same city, same job, same salary. One of them, 10 years from now, is financially free. No debt, a growing investment account, maybe even passive income coming in while they sleep. The other one? Still living paycheck to paycheck, still stressed about bills, still wondering where all the money went. Same income, completely different outcomes. Now here's the question that most people get wrong. What separated them? Was it luck? Was it family money? Was it some secret investment strategy only rich people know about? No, no, and no. The real answer is something far more uncomfortable and far more powerful. Because once you understand it, you can never unsee it, and it will completely change how you think about money. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why most people never build wealth, and more importantly, what the 1% actually do differently. Let's start with the belief that almost everyone has about money. Most people, and I mean the vast majority, believe that getting rich is about earning more. That's the core idea, right? Make more money, have more money. Simple math. So, what do people do? They chase raises, they work overtime, they pick up side hustles, they wait for that promotion that's going to finally change everything. And sometimes it works, for a little while. They get the raise, the paycheck goes up, and then something interesting happens. The lifestyle goes up too. Suddenly, the apartment that was totally fine 6 months ago feels a little small. The car that worked perfectly fine starts feeling a little old. The vacations get a bit more expensive. The restaurants get a little fancier. More money comes in, more money goes out. And somehow, at the end of the month, they're not really ahead. Economists have a name for this. They call it lifestyle inflation. But honestly, you don't need a fancy term for it. You already know exactly what it feels like. Here's the scary part. This isn't a failure of willpower. This isn't laziness. This is literally how our brains are wired. There's a psychological concept called the hedonic treadmill. The idea is that humans are remarkably good at adapting to new circumstances. Win the lottery? Give it a year, you're back to your baseline happiness. Get a raise? Give it a few months, the new salary feels normal, and you need more to feel the same satisfaction. We adapt upward, always. And this is why, statistically, increasing your income alone does not make you wealthy. Studies consistently show that people who earn more tend to spend more proportionally. The gap between what comes in and what goes out barely changes. So, if the answer isn't earn more, what is it? Let me introduce you to the most important number in personal finance. It's not your salary, it's not your credit score, it's not even your net worth, yet. It's called your savings rate. Your savings rate is simply the percentage of your income that you keep and put to work. That's it. No complicated formula. If you make $3,000 a month and you save $300, your savings rate is 10%. If you make $3,000 a month and you save $900, your savings rate is 30%. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Research from the financial independence community, people who have studied this obsessively, shows something remarkable. Your savings rate is almost entirely what determines how quickly you can build wealth. Not your salary, your savings rate. Let's make this real. Two people, both earning the same income. Person A saves 10% of what they earn. Person B saves 30%. Person A, at 10%, will take roughly 40 years to accumulate enough to be financially independent, assuming their investments grow at a normal rate. Person B, at 30%, gets there in about 28 years. Now, bump that savings rate to 50%, you're looking at roughly 17 years. At 70%, around 9 years. The math is almost shocking when you first see it. Saving more doesn't just get you there faster, it exponentially shortens the timeline, because you're doing two things at once: building assets faster and also proving to yourself that you can live on less, which means you actually need less to be free. But let's be honest, Most people hear save 30%, 50%, 70% of your income and immediately think, that's impossible for me. And this is where the psychology becomes everything. Because the reason most people can't save isn't that they don't make enough money. It's that they've never been taught to think about money as a tool rather than a reward. Let me explain what I mean. Most of us were raised with an unconscious belief: money is something you earn and then you spend to enjoy life. You work hard, you get paid, you buy the things that make you happy. That's the deal. In this mental model, saving money feels like punishment, like you're denying yourself something you deserve. Every dollar you don't spend feels like a sacrifice. But wealthy people, genuinely wealthy people, not just high earners, have a completely different mental model. For them, money is a seed. You don't eat your seeds. You plant them, and seeds, when planted in the right conditions, grow into trees that eventually produce fruit you can eat forever, without ever touching the original seed. This one mental shift changes everything.
Now, I want to go deeper, because this is where most financial advice stops, but it's also where the real lesson begins. Why do 99% of people stay financially stuck, even when they understand this stuff intellectually? Here's the hard truth. Knowing and doing are two completely different things when it comes to money. And the reason is something psychologists call present bias. Your brain has two systems. One is rational and long-term. It thinks about your future self, your retirement, your financial freedom. The other is emotional and immediate. It wants the pizza, the new phone, the weekend trip right now. And here's the uncomfortable reality. When it comes to spending money, the emotional, immediate system wins almost every single time. Not because you're weak, because that system is faster, louder, and evolved over millions of years to prioritize now over later. Your rational brain can know with complete certainty that investing that $200 today could turn into $2,000 in 20 years. And your emotional brain will still very convincingly argue that tonight's dinner is really, really important right now. This is why willpower-based financial advice almost never works long-term. Just spend less, just be more disciplined. It's like telling someone to just hold their breath for an hour. The underlying biology is working against you. So what do wealthy people actually do about this? They don't fight their psychology. They engineer around it. The most powerful wealth-building behavior isn't a sophisticated investment strategy. It's something embarrassingly simple: automation. The 1%, and I don't mean billionaires, I mean the people quietly building real wealth in the background, they've set up their finances so that saving and investing happens before they ever see the money. Their paycheck hits their account, and within seconds, a percentage automatically moves to an investment account. It's gone before their emotional brain even registers it arrived. They're not relying on willpower at the end of the month, looking at whatever's left and deciding to save it. Because here's a financial truth that almost everyone learns the hard way. Whatever is left at the end of the month is almost always zero. Expenses expand to fill available income every single time. But flip the script. Pay yourself first, automatically, before you spend anything. And suddenly, your lifestyle naturally adjusts to what remains. Not through suffering, not through endless sacrifice, just through a simple structural shift in how money moves. There's another piece to this that almost nobody talks about, and it might be the most psychologically important one. It's the identity piece. Here's what I mean. Most people who struggle with money don't think of themselves as someone who is good with money. They think of themselves as someone who's always broke, always struggling, always playing catch-up. And unconsciously, they make decisions that confirm that identity. The brain is a prediction machine. It looks at who you believe you are, and it tries to match your behavior to that belief. If you believe you're someone who spends everything they earn, your brain will find creative ways to justify every purchase, minimize every savings opportunity, and keep you right where you expect to be. The people who build wealth, quietly, steadily, often without huge incomes, they've adopted a different identity. Not I'm a saver because I'm sacrificing, but I'm someone who builds assets. I'm someone who invests. Money is a tool I use intelligently. And when your identity changes, your decisions change, naturally, automatically, without the exhausting constant battle of willpower. This is the piece nobody teaches in school. The math of investing is simple. The psychology of consistently doing the math is everything. Okay, so what do you actually do with all of this? Let me break it down into 3 things. Simple, concrete, and you can start any of them this week. The first thing, find your real savings rate. Not the one you think you have, the real one. Go back through the last 2 or 3 months of your bank and card statements. Add up everything that came in, add up everything that went out. What percentage of what came in did you actually keep? For most people, this number is somewhere between 0 and 5%, and seeing it written down clearly is genuinely uncomfortable, but it's also the first honest look at where you actually stand, not where you assume you stand. You can't fix what you won't measure. The second thing, automate one saving action this week. Not next month, not when things calm down, this week. Even if it's small, even if it's $20 or $50, set up an automatic transfer that moves money from your main account to a separate savings or investment account on the same day your paycheck arrives. The amount matters less than the habit. You're training your brain. You're rewiring the default behavior. You're building the muscle. Start small, make it automatic, then gradually increase the percentage over time as it starts to feel normal. The third thing, change how you think about what you already have. This one's more subtle, but it might be the most important. Start looking at every dollar you save, not as a dollar you didn't spend, but as a unit of future freedom. That $500 you put in an index fund today, in 25 years, at average market returns, that's roughly $5,000. You're not missing out on a dinner out tonight. You're buying a small piece of your future self's freedom. Every time you redirect money toward your future instead of spending it today, you are literally buying back your time, and time is the only thing you can never earn more of. This reframe sounds small, but it changes everything about how spending feels. It moves saving from a sacrifice to a strategy, from something you're forced to do to something you choose because you understand what it actually buys you. Let's come back to those 2 people we started with. Same job, same city, same paycheck. One of them is going to be financially free in 10 years. The other one will still be wondering what happened. And now you know the difference. It was never about the income. It was about the gap, the space between what comes in and what stays. It was about automating that gap so psychology couldn't close it. It was about planting seeds instead of eating them. And it was about a slow, quiet identity shift from someone money happens to someone who deliberately puts money to work. The 1% aren't smarter than you. They're not luckier than you. They just learned, either from someone who told them or through painful trial and error, that wealth isn't built in a single decision. It's built in the thousands of small, boring, consistent decisions that compound over years. Compound interest is famous for growing money. What people don't talk about enough is that compound behavior grows wealth. Every time you automate a saving, every time you choose the seed over the meal, every time you invest in your future self instead of your present comfort, those decisions stack on each other, they reinforce each other, and over time they become who you are. The gap between the 1% and the 99% is not a gap in income, it's a gap in understanding. And now, you're on the right side of it. If this video gave you one real insight, drop it in the comments. I want to know what landed. And if you want to go deeper on the exact mechanics of building wealth through investing and passive income, the next video is going to break that down step by step in the same simple way. See you there.